come on down, come on. Oh, I'm glad you're here. Step right up. Today I think I might be going crazy because I'm not just going to speak to you about one natural disaster, not even just two, but I'm going to speak to you about three natural disasters. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4? See, I told you I'm going crazy, but I'm going to speak to you about three natural disasters. And I'm going to even throw in how they occur. I'm also going to throw in how to stay safe in them. But wait, if you watch now, I'm going to even throw in an experiment to recreate them. I told you I'm going crazy, but I gotta stop there because if not, I'm so crazy I might end up selling the camera. But actually, you want the camera? Well, I can't do that. Then I can't speak to you about natural disasters. But anyway, it's time to get on with the show. Are you ready to have some fun? Then let's go! So the first natural disaster is what was that? Camera, you felt that? No? Well, anyway, the first natural disaster is. Am I going crazy because I keep feeling like the ground shaking? Camera, you felt that one? No? Well, anyway, the first one is an earthquake. Well, I'm glad I survived that earthquake. It feels real. Earthquakes. I wonder how they occur. Oh wait, how silly me. I know. It's because there's a stampede of elephants walking through the street. Wait, no? But that's not how they occur? So, let's talk about earthquakes. Earthquakes happen when the ground starts to shake. This shaking occurs because the earth is like a giant jigsaw puzzle made up of 20 pieces that are always moving. But they move very slowly, so we usually don't notice it. This is called tectonic plates. Well, that's a bit of a tongue twister. Try saying that 5 times fast. Tectonic plates, tectonic plates, tectonic plates, tectonic plates, tectonic plates. Alright, that was a bit tricky. I hope you managed to do it better than I did. Now back to those plates. Whenever those plates bump into each other, crash, or slide past one another, that triggers an earthquake. This activity is caused by something called a fault plane. So, when do you think these earthquakes occur? Do they happen all the time? Maybe 3 times a month? Or once in a blue moon? If you guessed all the time, you're spot on. The earth is always moving, but usually these movements are too small for us to feel, so there's no need to worry. However, some earthquakes can be so strong that you could feel it over 1,000 miles away. That's really far. And that's when we experience an earthquake. The point where an earthquake starts is called the hypocenter. And when it reaches the surface, it is then called an epicenter. There are 3 different types of movements that can be caused during an earthquake. The first one is called a convergent boundary. This is when one plate is forced over another one. This can cause hills and mountains to form. And the second one is called a divergent boundary. Here, the 2 plates move apart from each other, forming a rift zone, which leads to the creation of new ocean floors. And that brings us to the last one, which is a transform fault, which occurs when tectonic plates slide past another, a movement known as a strike slip. Earthquakes can be described as shaking, rolling, or a sudden jolt in the Earth's surface. Now that we understand what causes earthquakes, Let's discuss the recommended safety measures to protect ourselves during one. Here are the 7 steps to earthquake safety. The first 4 are how to prepare for an earthquake. The first step is secure your area. You have to identify any hazardous items and anything that is movable and can fall. Step number 2 is called plan to be safe. In this step, you have to create an emergency plan and decide on how you're going to communicate with others. Step number 3 is called organizing emergency supplies. In this step, you would have to get canned goods like canned beans and tuna, water, flashlights, and a first aid kit. The final step of preparation is called securing financial hardships. In this step, you would have to organize all your important documents, like your ID, your passport, your birth certificate, all this adult stuff that I don't have to worry about. Wait, since I'm not an adult, shouldn't I be financially organizing my stuff? Like my Pokemon cards, my Yu-Gi-Oh cards, my toys, and my piggy bank? Now let's get into the 3 steps of surviving an earthquake. The first step of survival is called drop, cover, and hold on. And do not, and I mean do not get it confused with the fire safety's stop, drop, and roll, because you might be rolling right into a big hole. Drop, cover, and hold on means drop whatever you're doing, take cover, and hold on to something sturdy. The next step of survival is called improve safety. What this means is after an earthquake, you have to evaluate yourself to make sure that you don't have any injuries and that you can move around. And after you do that, if you don't have any injuries, look at the people around you and make sure that they don't have any injuries. And after you do that, clear the area of anything that can cause further damage or further injuries. The final step is called reconnect and restore. What this means is to reunite with others, repair any damage, and rebuild your community. I hope you learned something about earthquakes. If you want to learn more, you could look it up, or you could go to your local library and read a book about earthquakes. Now that we know a little bit about earthquakes, let's do an experiment to recreate one. We already spoke about earthquakes, so now I'm going to do a demonstration to show you how buildings react to earthquakes. But you know the 3 little pigs? Then their houses. The first one made out of straw, the second one was made out of sticks, then the third one was made out of bricks. The first 2, the straw house and the stick house, couldn't withstand the wind, so it definitely wouldn't withstand an earthquake. But the third house, made of bricks, it could withstand the wind. So depending on its structure, it could withstand an earthquake, depending on how strong the earthquake is. The foundation of a building determines the survivability rate if an earthquake hits it. So I made this one, which has a solid structure, so it'll hopefully survive my demonstration. But this one, its structure is weaker, so it might fall. And I made this table move a little bit to imitate an earthquake. So let's begin the demonstration. There are different levels to earthquakes. So now I'm going to mimic a level 1 earthquake. So you can see that both of them are like barely even moving. And this one isn't moving at all. But this one, you can see it like maybe moving a little bit. But both of them survived. So now let's move on to a level 2. Both of them, surprisingly, still aren't budging much. So since they both survived that, let's move to a level 3. You can see this one moving a little bit, and this one not moving at all, only shaking a bit. But now let's move on to a level 4 since they both survived. Oh, this one fell. So as you can see, this one is completely good, but this one fell over. So let's go to level 5 to see this one's breaking point. But you can see it moving, but it's not even damaging it. You could just see it sliding around the table a bit. So let's move to a level 6. Even still, it's just sliding around. This one is just like a skyscraper. Since skyscrapers are so tall, they have to move with the wind and move with the earthquakes to give people enough time to run out during an earthquake. So that was my demonstration, and I hope you learned something. Until next time, have a great day and keep on learning. Bye!